Hey girl, let's talk crime. On November 15th, 2004, 52-year-old court clerk Peter Porco started his day like any other in Del Mar, New York. He picked out his clothes for the day, he used the restroom, made his breakfast, and then sat down in the kitchen after grabbing the newspaper. Once he finished, he then loaded the dishwasher and packed his lunch for work. Weirdly, Peter still did not arrive at the courthouse. Now, this was extremely uncharacteristic for him, and so his co-workers did inform court police, who then went to his home at 36 Broccoli Drive to perform a welfare check at 11:35 a.m. What court officer Michael Hart seen that day was straight from a horror movie. Upon opening the door, Michael had immediately saw Peter lying in a pool of blood, and he was deceased with massive head injuries. His wife, 54-year-old Joan, was still lying in bed. Her skull was fractured in several places, and her left eye was detached. But miraculously, she was still alive. Next to Joan in the bed was a large firefighter's axe. As investigators searched the house, they realized that both Peter and Joan had been attacked. Peter then gets up the following morning and carries out his morning routine, completely unaware of his injuries. He had stumbled around the house, leaving a blood trail, all while his brain was incapable of registering the fact that he was actually dying. After he ate his breakfast, Peter succumbed to his injuries. Before Joan was taken to the hospital, the investigator was trying to get answers as to who was behind this gruesome attack. Although Joan could not speak, she could nod her head, and when asked if it was someone in the family, she said yes. They asked if it was John, she said no. Ultimately, it was clear that it was her 21-year-old son, Christopher Porco. Quickly, authorities did find a motive. Apparently, Christopher was used to living this lavish lifestyle, and he didn't quite have the money for it. He had a gambling problem and was more than $40,000 in debt. He also had a habit of stealing from his parents. Christopher had taken out a $31,000 loan as well as a more than $16,000 loan by forging his father's name, and when Peter found out about it, he was not happy at all. Peter and Joan decided that they were going to cut Christopher off, and this may have cost them their lives. At 10:36 p.m. on November 14th, 2004, Christopher, who was a student at the University of Rochester, was seen on surveillance leaving the campus in his yellow Jeep. After finding out about their son stealing from them, the father did threaten to take legal action, and even though he was really disappointed and upset with his son, he told Christopher that he still loved him and he was still open to him coming home and having a conversation about everything that was going on. So Christopher traveled 3 hours back to his parents' home, and he arrived in the early morning hours of November 15th. When he got there, he did park his Jeep in the driveway, and he actually disarmed the alarm so that his parents would not know that he was there. Chris then grabbed an axe and walked up to his parents' bedroom where they were sleeping. He then began to attack both his mother and his father and did not stop until he believed that they were both dead. After the attack, he then cleaned himself up, and he did cut the screen to the garage to stage a home invasion and also cut the phone cord. So the University of Rochester security cameras show that he arrived back at campus around 8:30 a.m. on November 15th. Joan was rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery, and thankfully she did survive. However, she was extremely disfigured. She had completely lost her left eye as well as part of her skull. Her face was really damaged, and she had to be put into a coma to recover. After the news had broke, a newspaper reached out to Christopher Porco to tell him what happened. He then called the police and said that he heard that his parents were dead. Chris then agrees to come down to the station and be interviewed about his timeline of what happened leading up to the murders. Christopher said that he had watched a movie down in the lounge. However, multiple students said that they were down there watching a movie as well, and none of them remember seeing him. None of his story could be verified, and ultimately he was charged with the murder of his father and the attempted murder of his mother. So once Joan came out of her coma, she did not remember identifying Christopher, her son, as the attacker, and quickly recanted her story. Family and friends, as well as his old supervisor from his job, had helped post his bail. Christopher went back to live with his mother while he awaited trial. However, in August 2006, Christopher was found guilty of second-degree murder as well as attempted murder. He was sentenced to 50 years to life for each conviction. His brother always believed that he was guilty. However, his mother still stands behind him and thinks that he is innocent. Christopher is incarcerated at the Clinton Correctional Facility. Christopher did sue Lifetime in an attempt to not get them to air a movie about the murders. However, it was unsuccessful, and in 2013, they did air the movie Romeo Killer, the Chris Porco story.